Ash Ketchum's final battle in Pokémon Journeys has kicked off, the climax of a tournament bringing together the greatest trainers in the world. And what a whiz-banger the matchup has been. So let's talk about how Ash's big battle has stunned the crowds, and about what is coming down the pipeline. Hey Charles, it's everyone. How are you today? I'm doing just dandy because Ash's final battle of the World Coronation Series Masters 8 tournament is finally underway, after months of anticipation, and there's a whole lot to talk about. As the match has been spread across 4 episodes, and the intense back and forth of the first episode alone has delivered stunners to the millions. Not to mention that it came packed with an absolute shocker of a twist, so the plan today is to firstly put everything in perspective by 1, exploring the build up to the battle and what it actually means for Ash and the Pokemon anime, and secondly to 2, break down the battle itself, and 3, discuss what is coming up next in the biggest battle of Ketchum history. And as always, it's going to be a good time, so kindly cross-chop that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's bust out the juicy nuggets. Firstly, for anyone who hasn't been following the latest anime series, Pokémon Journeys, or anyone who simply wants to put the significance of the big battle in its proper context, what is unfolding before us is the hotly anticipated conclusion, the final match of the World Coronation Series Masters 8 tournament. The World Coronation Series is an anime-exclusive championship held to determine the #1 trainer in the world. And it does so by first separating the wheat from the chaff by way of a season-long competition in which trainers move up or down the ranks of a worldwide ranking system, with each trainer's rank determined by their successes or failures in every sanctioned World Coronation Series match they participate in. That is to say that when players taste the sweet nectar of victory, they move up the World Coronation Series pyramid, and when they suck down a fat L, they slippity-slop their way down the side of the pyramid. And as you can see, the competitors are separated into 4 classes based on their win ratio: the normal class, the great class, the ultra class, and the master class. Breaking into the master class is every trainer's dream, as at season end an all-star tournament is held in which the top 8 trainers in the championship will compete to determine who is the new monarch, aka the strongest trainer in the world. In the previous Masters 8 tournament, Galar champion Leon defeated G-Man Lance to become the reigning monarch, and this season it was Ash Ketchum's turn to scale the ranks and bend dreams into reality. Interestingly enough, Ash actually started this anime series without a goal in mind, getting swept up into a research fellow position alongside his new friend Go by chance during a trip to Vermilion City with his mom and dad, Professor Oak, and only getting introduced to the World Coronation Series in episode 12, wherein he witnessed the aforementioned Leon vs. Lance showdown, and challenged Leon to an exhibition match the following episode. Of course, he and Pikachu got paddled by Brokenzard and its G-Max shenanigans, but Ash was nothing short of inspired by the encounter, and made it his goal to ascend to the summit and topple Leon in the following World Coronation Series season. And as Ash climbed the totem pole, we saw him trounce opponents both old and new. A few notable examples of such opponents including Korrina, Bee, Volkner, Marnie, Kalos Elite 4 member Drasna, and of course, Raihan, Ash's stepping stone into the Masters 8. Just in time for the big tournament we had all been waiting for, and the tournament itself has been quite the ride for everyone involved. With Ash defeating Hoenn champion Steven Stone, ranked 3rd in the world in his tournament opener, and Sinnoh champion Cynthia ranked 2nd in the world to clinch a date with the Purple Panther in the finals. Defeating Cynthia, a trainer regarded by many video game players as the toughest champion of them all. Not to mention a powerhouse in the anime canon, a wise mentor to Ash and friends over the past 15 years of the show, and professional internet waifu to the masses. This was already a feat that the bards will sing of for years to come. But if Ash can actually seal the deal against Leon, then he will become the #1 ranked trainer in the entire world, and that is something nobody could have imagined happening when we were first introduced to a spirited but fairly incompetent young trainer from Pallet Town way back in the 1990s. And on the other hand, we have Leon himself, an undefeated Pokemon mastermind who has crushed the best of the best from far and wide, most recently embarrassing Ash's seemingly undefeatable Lumiose Conference rival Alan in his Masters 8 tournament opener, and comfortably dismantling Kalos champion Diantha's team in the semi-finals to cakewalk his way into the finals yet again. And here we are, the storm has set in, the match is underway, and if Ash Ketchum wins, how could one not consider him a Pokemon master? Having become a freshly minted champion in Alola, and then grinding his way up from the bottom to blow out the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strongest trainers in the entire world, it would be the absolute peak of his career to date. So with that said, let's discuss the eventful opening stretch of Ash's final Pokémon Journeys battle, an episode packed with heroism, stunners, and yellow Mickey moments. Ash vs. Leon, here it is at long last, and the battle kicks off with just the kind of flair you would expect from two proven champions having at it. And as an aside, it was nice to see Ash with friends in his corner, as while Go had to depart for a Project Mew mission back in episode 127, we see Ash's mom, Daddy Oak, and the crew tuning in from home. And Chloe and Dawn have joined him in the stadium. Dawn has been a regular cameo girl throughout Pokemon Journeys, and somewhat of a mentor to Chloe, so it was nice to see her back yet again. And I wonder which other friends and rivals may pop up before the match concludes. And regarding Go, we do see him meet up with Tokio and Gary Oak elsewhere as their Project Mew mission begins, so hopefully we will also see more of Go's story as Ash's continues to unfold. But anyways, back at the stadium, from Ash's big pep talk to his team to Leon's musings about his nervousness, bringing him back to his feelings about his very first Pokemon battle, the intensity in the atmosphere is boiling over. And with the world looking on, Ash and Leon make their way out to the pitch, they fire each other up, and things are about to kick into high gear. But wait a moment, in the midst of all this tension, Leon finally makes the proposition to Ash that was first teased the other week in a Japanese TV guide. The proposition we were all so eager to hear, and the proposition was this: that instead of just using 1 out of 3 of the big battle mechanics, as per the conventional Masters 8 rule set, that the finals rules be twisted to allow both trainers to put everything on the table. Wowzers, what a big twist, and I can't believe we are going to see all of these mechanics come out to play over the course of the battle, as we will now be able to see Gigantamax, Z-moves, and Mega Evolution from Ash, and who knows what from Leon, over the course of the 4-episode bout. Leon really wanted to see everything that Ash has to show, which was awesome to see, and while it is not entirely clear if Leon himself will pull out any extra tricks, what do you think about the proposition? Let us know. And with that, the battle gets underway, so let's walk through the general flow of the battle with some commentary and thoughts added in as we go. Things get off to a fiery start. Out comes Cinderace. Meanwhile, Ash leads with Pikachu. And Pikachu lets loose Thunderbolt, but Leon has a trick up his sleeve. Yes, indeed. Cinderace activates its Libero ability to gain immunity to Thunderbolt by firing off Scorching Sands. This was a brilliant way to showcase Cinderace's hidden ability from the video games, and what a wrench to throw in Ashy Boy's plans it was. Ash responds by immediately calling back Pikachu, to which Leon reacts by calling back Cinderace. And now it's Gengar's turn. As for Leon, out comes Inteleon. Gengar puts up an offensive, but to no avail, because Inteleon combines moves to throw up a counter shield, a classic catch-em technique created way back in the Diamond and Pearl saga of the anime that Leon had picked up from watching the Ash vs. Cynthia bout. Gengar is in trouble, and then Ash makes the call, breaking the pace of the match to bring out something we have not seen since Ash vs. Raihan, Gigantamax Gengar. A big melee breaks out, in which Inteleon manages to hold its own and lays down some hits, but the G-Max power play is ultimately just too much, and Gengar takes the knockout. And how does Leon respond? By walking out his weird uncle. Yes, next up is Mr. Rhyme. And out of all the members of Leon's Special 6, I was most excited to see Mr. Rhyme in action, as it just seems like such a zany character, and as expected, it did not disappoint. Mr. Rhyme freezes Gengar in place, and after a quick 1-2 Psychic Terrain and Expanding Force combo, it is lights out for Gengar. Leon dedicates the KO to Inteleon for setting up the takedown, stressing that the stacked damage was a team effort. And with that, the episode snaps to a close. On the whole, Ash's final battle of Pokemon Journeys has kicked off with a bang. The big reveal of Leon's proposition, the strategies Leon employed to put Ash on his back foot, G-Max Gengar, Ash drawing first blood, Sonya. There was a whole lot to love about this battle. And the question now is, what is next? Pokemon Journeys isn't afraid to upend the tea table when it comes to fan expectations, but let's just quickly assess where we are at now and what is likely coming up next. Regarding the Pokemon we have seen in action, on Leon's side, Inteleon is down for the count, but Cinderace and Mr. Rhyme are still in it to win it, with Dragapult, Rillaboom, and Charizard yet to hit the field. On Ash's side, Gengar is out of the match, but Pikachu is still on deck, and the rest of the squad are waiting in the wings. Not to mention that he still has access to both his Z-move and Mega Evolution. As for my personal thoughts on how I think / hope the remainder of the battle will turn out, based on the preview for episode 130, it looks like Ash is going to struggle to deal with Mr. Rhyme and Dragapult in the next episode, toying around, needing both of his dragons as well as Sirfetch'd and Lucario to get the job done. We also see that his Lucario Mega Evolves in this episode, and if it wasn't already obvious which battle mechanic he will be finishing the tournament with, well, now we know. And on that note, as much as I love the blue Batman Jackal, I still do hope and believe that we will see Pikachu versus Charizard to cap off the tournament, because in my books there simply isn't another satisfactory way to do it. Well, that's what I think, but how about you? If there is one thing I have missed throughout the Corsola Measles pandemic, it has most certainly been anime conventions. In particular, I was deeply disappointed to see Osaka's Nipponbashi Street Festa cancelled 3 years in a row, as it was a massive event that I looked forward to year after year. So I was really happy to make it out to 2 events in Taiwan recently, one in Taipei and one in Kaohsiung. For those who haven't been to any conventions in Asia, speaking from my experience at quite a few conventions in both Japan and Taiwan, the vibe of anime conventions in these 2 regions is a little bit different from most events in the West, at least from what I've observed, as while most have a packed schedule of main stage events throughout the day, there seems to be less emphasis on the panels and small events that are the heart and soul of Western conventions. And there is certainly more emphasis on the cosplayer photography, sale of goods, and main stage events. And whenever I've hit up big events in Japan, there have usually been some pretty wild after parties as well. Any hoot hoots. I'm hoping to get to some events in North America over the next couple years as well. So how about you? Do you attend anime or game or comic conventions? And if so, which are your favorites and why?